people, welcome to this episode of Women Rise. I'm called Madreen and I hope you're well. Yes, today we have Mrs. Joan Comfort Balese in studio. We are here to know more about Joan and of course about the work that she is doing. I know she's not new to some of you. You've seen her somewhere, of course, because of the amazing work that she has done and the work that she's doing. We are also delighted as Civic Space TV to have her with us today on Women Rise. Women Rise is a platform for you, the woman, young or old, as long as you're a woman, and there's a lot to learn more from these experiences. We have guests here who share their life stories, experiences, and I believe there's something to pick from someone else's story. So this is your show. So Joan is an executive director of Strong Girl Foundation. Joan is a news anchor. She's a journalist. She is a publisher. She's a published author. She's a public speaker. She's an advocate for mental health and thriving marriages. Of course, that is really also important. And for us, for everyone, mental health is a big challenge in Uganda, yet a few of us really consider mental health a problem. So Joan, I'll give you the floor to say hello to our viewers.
Hello, thank you so much for watching this show. Now, if you are a woman, I expect you to be following this, because if you want to be a better person, if you want to make an impact, it all starts from being inspired by other people, and that is something that I stand for. I believe in us making the best while we still can, because a time is going to come when you cannot do anything. And I am delighted to be one of the women to share her stories right here, to inspire someone, even if it is just one woman who can rise up and take charge of their lives. So I'm glad to be here.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, beautiful. I think we are starting from the right note. So Joan, to someone who doesn't know who Joan Comfort Balese is, how do you describe yourself?
I am a Bible person. Yeah. I believe in God. I believe in the Bible. I believe there is no solution that I can't find in the Bible. And I believe that whatever I am is because God has allowed it to happen. It's the grace of God. So you are going to find me, I'm a Christian, I shall say. And I am a Christian coach. I keep telling people whatever I do it from the perspective that I'm a Christian. Even as a journalist, I am a Christian journalist. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I am social. At the same time, reserved. I am social, yet reserved. Yeah. I
How do the two,
Yeah, I know
How
it doesn't.
Yeah.
I am social around the people that I am used to. Yeah, you find me making a lot of noise, jumping here and there, dancing if need be. But if you find me among people that I am not used to, you'll even wonder whether I speak.
Yeah, I get
you. And that reserved part of me is what most people till date do not believe, because most of them see me speak. They see me talk. So they're like, no, when we see you talk and speak, you can't tell us you're reserved.
You're reserved.
But you'll find me, maybe I'm speaking on Civic TV right now, but if you find me outside of here, you might find me coined somewhere. Like, that is the reserved part of me. I think it's because I'm a sanguine. And we know what sanguines are. We are always speaking. But I think life experiences have taught me to, the life experiences brought in that reserved person in me. I go slow.
All right. So Joan, we want to see the Joan growing up. You're telling us you are a reserved person, a sanguine. Who was Joan growing up? And a little bit about your education background. A typical sanguine.
Very, very active.
Okay.
Yeah. I was a very bubbly young girl. I went to Bat Valley Primary School, but at least, if you go to any teacher that taught while I was at Bat Valley, they know the name Agazu. My OBs and OGs know the name Agazu. Yes. Now, Balese is my husband's name.
Okay.
Yes, Agazu is my name. So I grew up as a very bubbly young girl, very active, very intelligent, very stubborn, they say. But I think I was just active. And I used to talk a lot. I used to talk a lot.
Okay.
Like I would talk in class. I can't recall the canes that I received while in school because of talking. My name was always on. Yeah.
The
so
noisemakers.
I sat for my primary at Bat Valley Primary School. Then I went to Light College Katikamu for my O-level. And then A-level, I went to Arua. I sat my USCE from Varas Senior Secondary School. Then I went to Global Institute for a diploma in journalism. Then I joined Kampala Film School. Then, well, I joined two other, before Global Institute, I joined a university that I'm not going to mention. And they gave me social sciences actually. By then I didn't really understand what social sciences was all about. But then when I went in for my first lectures, I remember I found myself having some of the same course units that I had even for my journalism class, like sociology. So I was like, no, I think I want to be a journalist. So why would I go and study social sciences? I didn't get career guidance. Had I known what social sciences was back then, as I know it now, I would have gone for social sciences. So I dropped out. I didn't even finish a semester. So I zeroed down to my diploma in journalism, and I did a certificate in filmmaking, documentary filmmaking from Kampala Film School. And I am also pursuing my bachelor's in journalism and mass communication.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So you tell us right from that, tell us about your career. Yeah, as a journalist.
My career has been a zigzag. Yeah. I was that person that was, they say you are a jack of many trades, but a master of none.
Okay.
I did pageantry, beauty pageantry. And I am glad to report to you that I was Miss. Twice.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Miss the title?
I was Miss Munyonyo. I think 2014, 2015. And 2013, 14, I think. And then I was Miss Rock, like Speak Hotel.
Okay.
2015 and 2016. I am a fashion designer, but right now I am doing it on a small scale. It is not really among the things, but back then I was so much into fashion that I even organized fashion shows. That sold out. I am an author, something that I started doing when I was, I think, 18 in my senior 6 VAC. Like, I did a lot of things. But right now I tell people I am a journalist, I am a certified life coach. I specifically love personal branding and mindset coaching. And then I am an enthusiast of leadership and communication. And I am studying to become a consultant in the two. In leadership and communication. I am an advocate of mental health, because there is nothing you're going to do if your mental health is not in check. I believe in thriving marriages, like thriving marriages. Marriages are supposed to thrive. We are not just supposed to have marriage for the sake of having marriage. They are supposed to thrive. So I am an advocate of thriving marriages, And I'm a certified Muyiribi.
Indeed. Because I'm looking at you, you're not mentioning all these things you're doing, and I'm wondering, how are you able to do all this? How are you able to juggle through with all the, the responsibilities that you have?
It came with time. It came with time. Now I get to know where my priorities are, what comes first and what comes in next. How do I do what? When do I do what? And somehow it just works. Now, in between all the coaching, the consultancy that I do, school, I have my family, I have work. the journalism work that I do now, that Muyiribi in me is also there, so I get to know that, okay, someone wants this, can I Kuyiriba it somewhere? And I keep telling my friends, for as long as something brings me money and it's not illegal, I'm going to be there. Just let me know that you need something and I will like source it for you as long as it's going to give me money. Yeah. So I also do that, but the Muyiribi is like you know, a by the way. Yeah. The fashion right now is also more of like a by the way. I only make clothes for people that are like really close, and you need to give me ample time.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do clothes mainly for myself and my daughter
And
at the moment, particularly like currently. So I am more invested into the consultants, the communication and leadership, and then the coaching and the journalism. That is basically what I am doing on a daily basis. Yeah.
And then Executive Director of Strong
Strong
Girl
Girl Foundation. Now,
tell us more about this foundation.
So Strong Girl Foundation was founded in 2016. I founded Strong Girl out of my own experience when I started my personal growth and self-discovery journey. That was 2015. I realized there's so many young girls then that had the potential, because the truth is, while I grew up at home, they would tell me, even my teachers, like, you are a very intelligent girl, like you are bright, but this, but that. So I realized that there's so many of us that have potential. There's so many young girls that have potential at school, you know, anywhere, and they do not have someone to guide them. Right, so I found a Strong Girl Foundation because I felt there is a strong girl somewhere that needs to know they are a strong girl. Maybe they have the strength, they have the potential, but they are not aware that they actually have the potential. So Strong Girl Foundation came up as a way of mentoring and empowering and then scaling young girls to be the best of who they can be. Our target audience was, you know, school-going young girls, and then the vulnerable girls. So we're looking at school dropouts, we're looking at teenage mothers. Yeah, they were the people that I started with. So we started with school outreaches. Okay. Yeah, me and a few friends, you know, I would mobilize them, and then we go to school, talk to the girls, and but along the way, Strong Girl Foundation evolved. Yeah, and as I speak right now, we are rebranding. Wow. We are rebranding. Now we have a better dream. Now we have a more clear, you know, we have more clear objectives. We have a more clear vision, mission. Now Strong Girl is going to take a different shift. Yeah, that's why I didn't mention. Yeah. I didn't mention. And our operations also, we paused them. Okay. Yeah. So right now, everything that I do it under the Joan Comfort Inspiration brand. Personal. Yeah. But the rebranded Strong Girl Foundation is coming back. Because we used to do school fees for the vulnerable girls, like we would pay girls in school, we support them. We have various programs, the school her, educate her, like we have the dress her, feed her. So all those are going to come back, but better now. Better now. All right. Yes. Okay. And you mentioned a lot of things. You're an author, you're a journalist, and a lot mental health. Yes. How how you keeping yourself, relevant in all the things that you're doing? Yeah. So while I am coaching someone to be the best version of themselves. You cannot be the best version of yourself when your relationship is lacking. You cannot be the best version of yourself when your mental health is not in check. You cannot be the best version of yourself if you cannot communicate. You cannot be the best version of yourself if you cannot lead yourself. Talk of leading the people that you're with. So if you see all the things that I do, they revolve around someone being the best version of themselves. So it is easy for me when I'm talking about personal brand. It has to do with you as an individual. When we're talking about mindset change, mindset shift, it's all about you. So as I said, I started, it was a lot of zigzag for me, but along the way, I gained more clarity into what my purpose is, into what my vision is, into what my mission is. As Comfort, My vision is to see that I empower as many youth to take charge of their lives as the next generation of leaders. Now, being a leader starts now. And my mission is to create platforms that can be able to empower and motivate young people to take charge of their lives. Yeah. So if you see all the things that I do, they revolve around my vision, around my mission. So I get to know that, okay, I want to do communication and leadership. What is my target audience? Do I go to women? I'm looking at married women, career married women, business married women. What can I offer them? So I get to know that all I talk about is mindset, is personal branding, is communication, is leadership, is mental health. Then I tailor my programs accordingly. If I'm going to speak to a woman that is down in Nakasero, how can I communicate branding to them in a way that they will understand branding? How can I talk to them about mindset? If I'm going to talk about finances, I'm not going to talk about getting a 100 million loan to a woman that is selling tomatoes down. So I talk about the same thing to different target audiences, customized for them. So I do the same thing. All of them, like, they complement each other. Now, when you talk about my journalism work, I mean, journalism is all about communication. If you're going to be a journalist, a good journalist, you need to be a good leader. But those are things that I learned along the way. And the truth is, as individuals, there is so much potential within us. There is so much that we can do. It only takes for you to realize how you can do those things. Currently, I am running personal branding series on my social media platforms, how to be an effective, how to build an effective personal brand. And I'm talking about these things, but I know that when I talk about authenticity, it's going to cut across. You as a journalist, you need to be authentic. As a tomato seller, you have to be authentic. So this, they cut across. I just get to know what avenue am I using. Now, when I talk about authenticity, when I'm talking about personal branding on LinkedIn, there's a certain audience that I'm looking at. On Facebook, there's a certain audience that I'm looking at. If I'm going to talk about personal branding in the market, there's a certain audience that I'm going to look at. I'm going to talk about the same things. I'm going to advocate for the same things, but on different levels.
I get you now. And you mentioned, going out to girls, to these communities. What are some of the issues that you think are really, hindering the work that you're doing, or also maybe any other challenges that these girls are facing?
I did my research. I actually wrote a book about it. The book Thrive Above Self-Sabotage.
Oh, this is the book?
Yeah, this is my second publication. The first was The Ideal Lady. So this book talks about us sabotaging ourselves in most cases, but that stems from identity crisis. We do not know who we are. We do not know the potential that we have. And as such, we find ourselves second guessing who we are. We find ourselves, in a situation of where you feel you are not worthy. You find yourself in a situation where when an opportunity comes for you, you're like, no, I don't think that to me is the biggest challenge that we are facing as women.
And how do we overcome all this? Because as women, we keep, hiding behind, what you've mentioned, that, I'm not able to do this. Maybe I cannot try this. So you also mentioned in the beginning, there's a girl who doesn't know that, she's a strong woman.
Self-discovery.
Yeah. How do we go over this?
That is the journey. Take the journey of self-discovery. Now, when we talk about self-discovery means there is something within that you just have to discover. It is not new. It is within. You discover it. You take a journey of self-discovery. That is what I did. Did I tell you that even in my my pageantry years, I trained. I remember I trained Miss IUA 2015. I trained them. I prepared them for pageantry that year. But right now, if you ask me, I don't think that is the line that I want to take. I want to impact someone's life, but from a different angle now. As a journalist, I want to impact someone's life, but from a different
angle.
Now, one thing that stands out for me in all the work that I'm doing right now is my why. And I love telling people, find out your why. Why do you do what you do? What motivates you? What drives you? And when we find the why, we will not be shaken. Now, if you find a journalist that tells you they are a journalist, but when they do not pay them, they stop working and all that, then that means they are forcing drive, maybe was money. I'm not saying you should allow yourself to be, taken advantage of. I'm not saying do not stand up for your rights. But as a journalist, you ask yourself, what is my why? Why do I do what I do? Right now, if you look at what we're doing as journalists, it is so disheartening that our field has become one that is less respected. Journalists are no longer respected. We do not have the command that we used to have. You know why?
Where is the problem?
Because we do not have a strong why. Because these days journalists want to be journalists because they think they want to be, celebrities. Because we think we want the money.
But Joan, you see, I don't think this is only, to the journalism career.
I'm talking about journalism because that is where I am.
Yeah.
I have seen it firsthand. I have seen journalists that say, I am not going to cover this story because they are not giving me a tip. But is that what journalism stands for?
No. Now,
I love asking people this question. You want me to give you money. What relevance do you have? What value are you adding to me for me to give you my money?
Yeah.
I was in the field, Madreen, but I was one of those journalists that never used to sign for money. And guess what? Money used to follow me.
How?
Because we would go to the field.
How did you do it? Because
we would go to the field. Because first of all, the media house that I was working with used to facilitate my transport to take me to the field to cover the story. I used to go back to the media house, and at least my editor used to make sure we have something to eat. At the end of the day, I would get my salary. It could have been little, not enough, but I felt my name is better than the 10,000 shillings that I'm going to fight for, the 20,000 shillings that I'm going to sign. So I used to tell people my signature is too expensive to be appended on a 20,000 shillings, especially that I have to fight for.
Yeah.
There is you going into the room and telling you all journalists are going to be given transport facilitation. But there is you demanding that until you give me 20,000, I will not cover your story. I will not run your story. How cheap can we get? So I was in the field. I never used to, I would sign. When all of us are signing, it's like, this is it. All journalists, we have this amount of money for you, so sign for it. But you will never find me demanding for money or fighting for money. I will even cover some stories and just go. And before you know it,
it's already
they're sending you money on your number.
Oh.
Your colleagues signed for 20,000, they have sent you 100,000 shillings.
Wow.
Like you would find, sources calling you. We have this coming up. Like you are taken as one of the authentic reporters that are in the field. You're not taken as a masquerader. So what value are you putting out there? The same, this is a program for women. As women, what value are we putting out there? If you think you are worth chips and chicken, that is what you're going to be taken for. But if you think you are worth becoming a wife, you will be married. The decision is yours. What value are you adding? Yeah? So in everything that you do, ask yourself, I want a salary increment. I love challenging my colleagues. You want a salary increment because you got married. How is it my business that you got married? Did I send you to get married? Was it anywhere in our, agreement, our MOU, that when you get married, I'm going to give you up? That was not there. So when you come to me, when you go to your boss for a salary increment, prove why you need a salary increment. I mean, you're doing the basic. You're doing what is expected of you, and yet you want me to give you a salary increment.
Wow.
I mean, you're doing what is on your job description, or even less than what is there. And then you're coming to me and you're telling me you need a salary increment.
What is the value?
What value are you adding? What are you putting to the table?
Yeah.
But that answer lies right within you.
And I'm more interested in the part where you mentioned about women. Yeah, we want a lot of nice things, good things, but then what do you do? What do we do to, to achieve these good things?
Work hard. That's what I keep telling people. Before I got married, I used to go on, solo dates. Like I would book myself into Sheraton or Serena. I just go and eat my money.
Okay.
I would buy myself flowers. I would gift myself.
Surprise yourself.
Like I would just choose today I want this kind of bouquet and I would pay for it. Like I want this kind of watch and I would buy it. Like I want to taste how, Sky's food tastes and I would go there. Now, when I was doing all this, I mean, I didn't have to wait for a man to do it for me. I wanted that by the time I get married, I'll get a man that when he spends on me, he will not feel like he's doing me a favor. And I will not feel like, oh, I can't do without him if he does not tick the most important things. So as women, that is what I was asking. What is your value? Is it a bouquet of 100,000? Is it a pair of shoes that is 60, 70, 100? What is your value? Is your value food worth 80,000 shillings? Can't you afford that food? Can't you work to get that food? And you see, when you can do those things for yourself, a man will even respect you more. Now, people normally, love confusing between being independent and being masculine in a relationship. Right. Some of us go as women, we do what is not ours to do. We want to show this man that yes, I love you, I'm a marriage material. You are paying rent in a house that both of you are living in, or maybe in a house that a man is living in, because you want to prove to him for you're not after money. You are going, head and over to do things for this man. You're going home and cleaning for him and all that because, well, you're showing him your wife material. Now, something funny about men. Men will know who they want to marry. A man will marry a girl that parties Sunday to Sunday. And leave you that keeps coming here to wash and do all those things. Washing is not what makes you a good wife material. We have housemaids that can do that.
So what makes one a good wife material?
It
to
is
our ladies that are watching.
Now, to the ladies that are watching, they just be you, be real. And to you that is watching, if you're single, I love saying this. We have expectations out of men. Like, I want my man to do this. I want my man to do ABCD. I want him to drive. Are you driving? You want a man that has built a house. Okay, you have not built, but at least you have a plot of land. Okay, let's say you don't have any of those, but you want a man that drives, that is going to take very good care of you, that has a house of his own. What are you going to add on to him? Apart from spending his money,
what else are you adding?
What else? Can you help him to multiply the money that he has? Can you help him to keep the money that he has? Or you're going to just help him spend the money that he already has? Why would he consider you anyway? You see, it's just like us women, Madreen, when we are looking for husbands. A woman that is mature enough is not going to look at what this man has, like in terms of, money, the tangible things, what money, what car, what. They are going to look at their conversations. When I am conversing with you, Madreen, do I see any future in you? Do you have words that are you sensible? What plans do you have? I look beyond what you have right now.
Yeah.
Because you might have all the things, the money, the what, but if you are, I don't want to use this word, but if you are lacking, let me just say you're lacking, yeah, like you won't be able to keep that money if you are not wise enough. You don't know how to use the money you have, you don't know how to keep the money you have, you do not even know how to spend the money that you have. Tomorrow that money will go. That's why we find people that win lotteries, but like
And still
a lot of money,
nothing
but then
comes.
a few years down the road they are back on the streets begging. They lacked the wisdom.
It happens.
So to a girl that is watching right now, besides all other things, qualities that you might want in a man, look for a man that has wisdom.
Wow.
Wisdom to know that right now we do not have money. How can we go about it? Wisdom to know that women are more emotional than men are. My woman is abusing me, but slapping her is not the best thing to do. I love describing wisdom as knowing what to use the knowledge that you have for. Knowledge is the idea that you know, you are aware of something. Now that you are aware, how are you using this knowledge? Knowledge is knowing that if I am coming to Civic Space TV stations, I'm going to get the, maybe Chigoa Road, it's in Tinder, and maybe I am in Bukoto. This is the best route, shortest, safe, that I'll get there. That is like what wisdom does for you. It tells you, okay, Civic Space is there, use this route to get there. But lack of wisdom is what might even tell you, you know what, go to Chiwatule, you have to come in from Muntinda, because you're like, at the end of the day, I'll get there. First of all, you'll have spent more money.
Time.
Secondly, you'll have spent time. So we need wisdom, even as women. A man that is looking for a wife to marry, look for a woman that has wisdom. A woman that will tell you, instead of buying me shoes of 500,000 shillings, buy me one of 200. Let us reinvest the 300. A woman that will tell you, I love you more than the money, so do not spend on me extravagantly.
Joan, which percentage of this do we have these days?
They are there. Yeah, we do have them. So these are some of the things that we look at as women, and they're the things that I love talking about to the singles, because you see, when you are in marriage, because I'm a Christian, I believe in till death do us part. I believe in doing marriage the way the Lord has instructed us to. So it is better for you to end a relationship than end a marriage, especially one where you went to church and got wedded and called heaven and earth to be witnesses. I love posing this question, like, okay, when you were mentioning for better, for worse, what worse were you thinking?
Do we even think about
like
what
worse were you thinking? But remember, you said, I call heaven and earth to be witnesses as I take this person to be with me till death do us part. So before you commit, before you make that commitment, ask yourself, will I be able to, and I love asking, what is your greatest fear? What is that one thing, Madreen, that your boyfriend can do to you, that your husband can do to you, and you call it quits? If you can get that answer and ask yourself, okay, now that I know, if he ever cheats on me, that will be the end of it. And he cheats on you, what do?
You end it.
When you're married, then that shows you're not ready for marriage.
Wow. A lot of, inspiration from Joan here. So Joan, all these things that you're doing, talking to women, building personal brands. What is the impact so far? Like, how far have you gone with, impacting the lives of Ugandans, and most especially the women?
I have had thousands of people inspired because of the school outreaches. I always get feedback.
Wow.
Like the school administration will always call back and say, after this session with the girls, this is what is happening at school. I have gotten people online that I have never met that send me messages.
Wow.
Because I just keep posting randomly. And I really didn't know that, because I started by posting. I would just post on my Facebook. But I'll be surprised, like you wake up and somebody is sending a message. I think I need to speak to you. I'm going through this. I'm like, okay. So I have gotten people that have, I have saved marriages. Even when I was not yet married.
Even when you're a young person?
Yeah. I would get, like at first I'll be like, but now look at this woman. I mean, you've been in marriage for 10 years and you're coming to me not even married.
Someone.
Like, what am I going to?
Yeah.
So I shared that with one of my pastors, and I told him, you know what, this is lady that needed me to speak to her. She had been in marriage for 12 years and I was not yet married. And by then I was 25. So I told him, but I think you can help her. Let me tell her to contact you and you. So he sat me down and said, no, if a woman that knows you are single has seen you out of the so many people, there is something greater than in you. So he told me, it is your calling, accept it and ask for wisdom.
Wow.
So I have been able to save marriages. I have been able to impact youth, inspire them to start businesses. They are like, there are those that were maybe at the verge of giving up and they kept pushing because I inspired them indirectly.
Wow.
And then there are those that have come to me for mentorship, for coaching. I have a number of journalism students that have been able to help. And I am glad to say most of the journalism students that I mentored are doing personal work.
Wow.
Still in their line, of course, but I was able to point them to the very many possibilities that exist within the journalism field. It is not just about being on TV. It is not just about working with the media house. There is more to that. You can do consultancy as a journalist. You can do, So I have impacted quite a number of, And then I know there are those that I have impacted that have not really come through, but they are there.
They are there. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we bless you for that.
Amen.
And so Joan, to the girls, you know, in Uganda, yes, with your experience, with your experience as a journalist, or maybe before we go to that, you're an advocate of mental health, and we have a lot of issues to do with mental health challenges. Basically, women, do we have the biggest percentage of women, or is it men or women?
Men are affected most because they do not speak up.
They do not speak up. Yeah. So kindly share some light about mental health, and then also about how you're handling people with such challenges.
So what I normally do, because I am a mindset coach, is I normally do the diagnosis. Like, you come to me, you tell I'm having ABCD, we talk about it, I get to see the cases that I can handle, but there are cases where I refer you for professional help. Yeah, maybe having a counselor, having a psychiatrist, I always refer people, because there are moments when I cannot handle, when it's now beyond me, it's more medical than it is psychological. At times I help with the psychological a bit, but I also have where I stop, because I am not a psychologist. I am not a medical mental health practitioner. I am just an advocate. I am someone that is passionate about mental health, because for me, before we talk about mental health and all that, but it didn't make a lot of sense to me until 2020, the lockdown. So 2020, I had very beautiful plans for Joan Comfort Inspiration. I had very beautiful plans for Stronger Foundation. We had contacted schools, gotten go-aheads for them for the different outreach programs. I had a very beautiful program. And I felt like I am going to be in charge of my 2020. 2020, I launched my support group for ladies under the Ladies Coffee Chat. And it was a beautiful event, which was meant to be happening every after 2 months. But COVID-19 kicked in. And somehow I just lost control of everything. That I thank God that I was an essential worker, I was working as a journalist.
Yeah, as a journalist.
I was working, but it still affected me. So every time a date would come, like, today is 15th of August, then I am reminded, oh, today we were supposed to be doing this, and we're not doing it. That would dawn on me.
Yeah.
So I lost interest in the things that even mattered to me. I resigned from my job. That was 2020. Somehow I pushed through. Then 2021 is when I totally lost it. I just kept, because I was living alone. So I would always keep indoors. I would sleep. Like, I would even finish the day without eating. Like, I just lost interest in everything.
Yeah.
I changed my numbers, my phone numbers, to knew that people couldn't even reach me. But because I had been talking about, as a journalist, I used to talk about mental health. I used to host mental health practitioners, like the psychiatrists, psychologists, I would host them. So we'd talk about this. I had done some study about mental health, like how depression comes in, what is stress, and how it affects us. So I got to a point where at one point I felt like, I'm feeling a lot of pain, and the only way out for me is if I die. Like, I won't wake up to pain anymore. So when my mind went to that, I knew now I needed help.
Yeah.
But I got to that point because I knew what depression looked like. I got there because I knew now where I am, I have lost control of myself. I had lost interest in everything. Like, I had, I think, 2 friends, 2 companions then. And those were the only friends that used to come to me, and they never knew that I was going through depression.
Yeah. And
like, they would just come to keep me company.
Many of us go through this, and we cannot even tell.
Yeah, so what happened is I have a psychiatrist friend that I called. She works with Butabika. So I told her, you know what? I need help. She came through, we spoke, and she referred me to a psychologist. So I went to Butabika, the trauma healing center.
Yeah.
Like, I took myself in. We had a session, and it helped me.
Joan, I'm imagining too, you had a little knowledge about, mental health. To someone who has no idea.
So that is where
happened.
That is where my desire for, the activism came through.
Yeah,
I was like, now imagine, I that even knew about all these, I was still through. And then how about someone that has even no idea?
Anything.
Someone who doesn't know anything. But I realized all that, before you get to a point of breaking down, of mental health distress, it starts with your mindset.
Yeah.
What is in your mind? And I realize it is people that have negative mindsets that are normally affected with mental health. Because when you lose a job, your mind tells you, you don't have any other
hope.
Like, no way out.
Yeah.
So you keep feeding yourself. I'm a failure. I don't have any other option. I don't have any other hope. Before you know it, from stress, you get into distress, you get into depression.
Wow.
So that is how I got, and I started talking about it. Like, what does mental health distress look like? What does being in depression look like? I would talk about it on my spaces, my social media platforms, and I got so many people that came through for me. I've been hosted on spaces to talk about mindset and mental health, and someone calls you and tells you, I have actually been going through exactly what you described, but I did not know what it meant.
True.
Like, I did not know, so what can I do? So there are cases that I said, those that I handle, and those that I always refer. Yeah, and I tell them, you know what, go for help.
Wow.
Go to this person, like, there are people that I know that are dealing with mental health. So I always refer them to those companies, to those individuals. No, I try to speak to someone so they'll be able to help you. Yeah, those that I can help, I do help. But those that I can't, I refer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing work, Joan. And finally, you speak to young girls. Of course, you share with your experience. With all the things that you're doing, how you're able to do such, all the work that you're doing, and of course, encourage a young girl who wants to be maybe in your shoes, someone who has not yet discovered themselves. Yes.
There are 2 things that I'm going to ask them. In fact, there are 3. Establish a relationship with God. It is one thing knowing God, and it is another having a relationship with Him.
Yeah.
Establish a relationship with God. You might be a Muslim and you're watching, establish a relationship with your Allah. Yeah? But establish a relationship with a Creator. I think that's the best word I can use. Establish a relationship with your Creator. Once you do that, find out, who are you? Who are you? Like, who am I? Ask that question. And when we talk about who we are, Madreen, I'm looking at the permanent things. What is that one thing about Madreen that is not going to change no matter what? In there is where our identity stems from. Unfortunately, most of us define who we are. We establish our identity on the temporary things in life. I am the executive director. I am the mother of so-and-so. I am the wife of so-and-so. God forbid your husband dies. God forbid your child dies. God forbid you lose that job. Yes, you are the owner, you're the founder. But we've seen companies, multi-billion companies that are no more. So define who you are by the things that are not going to change. Personally, when I was introducing myself, I told you I'm a Christian. I'm a child of God. Now, my being a Christian might change if I am not established in God, if I have not established that relationship. Because when things are going on well for me, I'll be a Christian. But when things go south, I'll try to look for other options. I'll even denounce God. But when I have I've established a relationship with God, I will know that even in this storm, God exists. I will know that I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and there is nothing anyone is going to tell me contrary to that. I mean, God has said, so who are you to say that I'm not? So there are certain things, I mean, someone cannot tell me I am ugly and I feel offended. No, I cannot. Right now, someone cannot tell me I'm dark-skinned and I feel offended. Like, am I not? And does being dark-skinned, I mean, does it define who I am?
No.
Is my ability dependent on my color?
No.
So, and I've been able to break barriers, by the way. Because, you know, working on TV, people say, if you're going to work on TV, you have to be light-skinned. But I've worked with more than one TV station and as an anchor with my color. So it is until you dig deeper and find who you are in God that things will make sense to you. So I said, first of all, establish a relationship with God. Secondly, know who you are. That even when anyone says anything, it will not be used against you. And I love telling people this, that along the journey that we take as we are growing, we evolve, we are going to make mistakes. Now, my mistakes do not define me. Yes, yesterday I didn't know. Today I know better. And own your story. Because owning your story starts from knowing who you are. Madreen, when you own your story, no one is going to use it against you. When you are ashamed of your story, people are going to use it against you. They're going to blackmail you. Someone will tell you, I have this secret of yours, don't do this to me. You're going to find yourself staying in a relationship, a toxic relationship, because someone knows something about you. You've not acknowledged who you are. Our mistakes do not define who we are. And lastly, know your why. What is your purpose? Why do you exist? What motivates you? What is that one thing that you can do? Madreen, even if you woke me up from sleep and told me, I want us to talk about this, I will speak, I will talk. Yeah, I was making, I was reminding my cousin recently, because we went, in fact, she was the one reminding me. She told me I was hosted on one of the TV stations. So she texted us like, wow, I love how you're so eloquent. So she was like, where did you get all that from? Like, you have been speaking as if you're programmed to. And then she reminded me, but do you remember how you used to be caned for overspeak? Like, I used to talk. At school, they would. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, it's just natural that I talk. But along the way, as I told you, I got to know that, okay, if I am a natural speaker, I need to speak for impact. I now don't just speak. I speak for impact. So find out your why. what is your purpose. The moment you find your purpose, you'll be able to move on. Even as a journalist, I know that this is my purpose. As a coach, I know this is my purpose.
Yeah.
As an activist, yeah, I know that this is my purpose. As a consultant, like I know that if I'm going to do anything, this is my purpose, and it has to be in line with my purpose for anything that I do. If it's not in line with my purpose, I'm not in for it.
Yeah.
But if it's in with my purpose, then I'm all in for it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. So, Joan, where do we find this amazing book, Thrive Above Self-Sabotage?
Currently, Thrive Above Self-Sabotage is with me.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can go to any of my social media platforms and we catch up. Yeah. I am on LinkedIn, I am on Facebook, I am on YouTube, on Instagram, Twitter, X now.
Wow. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and TikTok. I mentioned TikTok, right? TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, X. Yeah, I think those are the platforms. So if you put in Joan Comfort Inspiration, you'll be able to get me.
Wow, yeah. Amazing, amazing. I mean, if Joan starts speaking, you you don't want her to finish, and you'll keep listening and listening to her. So you can follow her on all her social media platforms for more amazing work, and of course more inspirational talks with her.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Joan, for coming through. It has been really amazing time having you talk to our ladies. I believe someone has picked something from this conversation. Sure. Yes, thank you so much, our lovely viewers. Follow all our conversations on X, that is Twitter, at Civic Space TV, TikTok, Instagram, and of course Facebook. Yes, thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.